take a day to you this day of your time. How are you all?
Yes!
I will take that as a fine. All right. We thank you for the co-creation of this interaction. You may proceed as your imaginations so desire. What would you like to discuss with us this day?
Okay. I have my first question.
Yes.
How are you?
Perfect, and you?
Wonderful.
All right.
Thank you. My first question is, I smoke marijuana
Yes.
on a regular basis, on every day, I would say.
All right.
And on occasion, I will take psychedelic drugs such as
Yes.
mushrooms, acid, DMT.
Yes.
I feel personally that the use of these, I feel like I consider these to be tools in this process
Yes.
of ascension, enlightenment that I seem to be experiencing.
They are,
Wonderful.
and can be, depending on how you use them.
Okay.
Now, most people in your society don't necessarily need to use them as often as they think. The idea is that in the natural form in which the earth provides certain kinds of tools of this nature, and the more natural ones are in that sense already designed to interact with your chemistry and your psychology in a particular way, rather than the artificial ones, you follow me?
Mm-hmm.
The natural ones are already designed to have a certain effect, and when used in conjunction with certain, shall we say, personal processing rituals, can be very effective in assisting an individual to get in touch with very deep and profound levels of their consciousness, and get in touch with expanded levels of consciousness beyond the physical world. But this is why, if you will observe what you may call indigenous societies in various parts of your planet, this is why they surround the utilization of those particular tools, those drugs, with certain kinds of processing rituals, such as vision quests and so forth. You follow me?
Yes.
Just the idea of continually taking them is not really allowing one to actually integrate the experience one has from each time. The idea is that they will actually have a more profound effect on your life if you take them intermittently, and in between and during use or create or attract yourself to a particular processing ritual that will allow you to integrate the experience and the information that comes from the utilization of those tools, rather than just continuing to take them frequently. You follow me?
Yes, very much.
All right. Does that answer your question?
It does, thank you.
All right.
Okay. Sure.
Yes. I'm curious about, as far as within the next 5 years,
Yes.
how important it is for us to integrate ourselves with nature.
It is important every moment. In this transformational age, the sooner you can allow yourself more integration on every level with everything in your reality, it will help you accelerate greatly. Integration is key now in this transformational age. As we have said, the idea is that those that wait to integrate will find it tougher to do so later on. Because as the energy, the collective wave accelerates, it will be harder for you to catch that wave, ride that wave, unless you are willing to integrate on a daily basis to the best of your ability. Now, we have talked a lot about the idea of what we perceive to be the most efficient way to integrate. And the most efficient way, in our opinion, to integrate is always following your highest joy with integrity to the best of your ability. You follow me? And so by doing that, by being willing to recognize that what you call excitement is the vibrational energy of your true self, and by acting on every circumstance and situation that occurs in your life synchronistically that gives you an opportunity to act on that, then you will constantly be in a state of integration, no matter at what rate it may occur. And you will always be perfectly in sync with the collective integration as you need to be, as long as you are being true to yourself in that way, by those behaviors and by those actions. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. All right. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I have another question.
Oh, all right.
As far as being true to yourself, how do you know the difference between being true to, as far as the ego-based mind, and to your heart?
Well, when you allow yourself to make an honest assessment of what your belief systems and definitions are about any given situation that you may seem attracted to, and you give yourself an opportunity to define yourself in relationship to it, you will gain the ability, you will gain through this practice the ability to discern the difference. Most of you can really tell the difference if you just simply sit still and be quiet and listen to your heart. as to whether or not something is truly you, or whether it is something that really has nothing to do with you, but maybe you have defined in a way that makes it uncertain. Do you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Most of you can really tell. It's really not that difficult. If you make an honest assessment and ask yourself the simple question, am I simply defining something as either true or not true because I have a fear or a doubt about my relationship to it, you will usually find that you will get an answer. The idea is to simply ask yourself whether you are imposing a definition on something that actually has a different kind of energy, or whether you're seeing it for what it is and feel in your heart that it is something that you feel attracted to. Now, of course, you can be attracted to something and feel it is a true representation of your truth and your excitement. But the idea is to always do it without expectation, for it is the expectation often that, shall we say, gets you into trouble and is representative of other definitions that may be in your consciousness that don't necessarily serve you in the best way possible. So by always moving toward the thing that excites you the most without expectation, you at least then are leaving yourself open for synchronicity to show you whether having moved in that direction actually serves you best or not, by not assuming that a certain outcome must occur, but letting life show you what does need to happen, and then seeing how you feel about that, and how you relate to that, and how you define yourself in relation to that thing. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Is this answering your question?
Yeah.
Does this help?
Yes.
Well, thank you.
Bashar, my next question is, in this process of waking up and understanding that we or I have been indoctrinated into a belief system that is simply not true,
yes.
I'm wondering how
not true for you.
Okay, not true for me.
It is all true.
Of my highest potential.
Yes.
I'd like to know what your thoughts are on certain foods that we eat, things that we can habitualize into our daily practice.
Yes.
Right now, there is a lot of talk of how harmful everything is in the American
it's primarily
society.
because, first and foremost, your water, your food, your air is polluted. And so you are getting a lot of toxicity in the things that you ingest, in the things that you drink, in the things that you breathe. So the idea, first and foremost, is, of course, body consciousness at any given moment will tell you what is really best for you. But again, of course, you have to be in touch with the definitions in your psychology as to why you might feel the need to eat a certain thing. Now, generally speaking, obviously, the more natural, the more fresh, the more organic, the lighter you eat, the better it is for your system in general, because you really don't need as much as many of you on your planet may think. So the idea is to always be as light as possible, as natural as possible, as fresh as possible. Then, allow your body consciousness, when you are in touch with it, to tell you what it may need at any given moment because of the chemistry that is going on in your body at that moment, and it is all right to eat a variety of things as long as it is done in moderation. Most people on your planet have simply been indoctrinated to think that they need more than they do. It is not so much exactly even what you eat, but how much and why that makes the difference. But also, because of the degree of toxicity in whatever it is you do decide to eat, a regular detoxification and cleansing of the organs and the body is always going to be of great benefit to you. Perhaps once, twice, maybe even 3 or 4 times a year, depending upon the degree of toxicity that you may believe your body is holding on to. Because you see, when your body has absorbed toxins over a long period of time, the toxins lodge themselves in the cells in such a way that it actually prevents your body from absorbing whatever nutrient you do put in your body. So it has, in that sense, a double negative effect. By cleansing yourself, detoxifying the body in all ways that you can, then you give your body the opportunity to absorb whatever nutrients you are putting in, and you will find very rapidly the body can heal itself from just about anything if it simply has no toxins to deal with and is given the proper nutrition. Then it will work as it is designed to work. But generally, as we've said, lighter in that sense might be best for your body, and not as much is best for your body, but trust your body consciousness to tell you what it feels that it needs at any given moment, and don't judge it. At the same time, we would suggest you do whatever process is necessary to be in touch with your own psychology, your own beliefs, and your own definitions about why you may feel at any given moment that you wish or crave a certain thing, to make sure that it is your body consciousness telling you your body needs it, as opposed to your psychology just simply saying, I want it because I'm lacking something else. And this is just acting as a substitute for that thing I will not give myself. You see the difference?
Yes.
Yeah.
Does this answer the question sufficiently?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
All right. And, if I may,
Please.
one of the things that you also must be aware of, since you brought up the idea of smoking, no matter what it is, again, and the reason to do this more intermittently rather than absolutely regularly, is that smoke, even from that, taken into the body that way, will dehydrate and add toxins into the body that must then be gotten rid of. You follow me?
Yes, I do.
So, that's why, in moderation, in that sense, is best when coupled with a ritual that allows you to use the information so that you're not constantly dehydrating the body or pumping toxins into it to a level that it doesn't have the ability to deal with efficiently. You follow me?
Clear.
All right. Thank you.
My next question is, if we were living in a world of one love, such as your civilization does,
Yes.
would the idea of male and female kind of fall to the wayside in the way we interact with each other as far as expressing our love and gratitude?
That depends.
Be pretty equal?
It depends.
Okay.
That will not necessarily become a homogeneous reality for everyone. In other words, some individuals may wish to maintain, for a variety of experiential reasons, the idea of that kind of definition, and other individuals may not. In our society, you will actually find that it runs the gamut, as you say. There are individuals who have, in your estimation, lost all sense of, or all perception of, the concept of gender identity. And yet there are also individuals who have maintained that, because it simply serves them to have an experience in that direction. So it really is that when you arrive at that state, you can do whatever you wish. It's not that that state requires that those things disappear. It's that that state allows you to determine whether or not it's necessary for you. And then choose accordingly and experience yourself accordingly. Do not necessarily assume that certain things must go away just because you arrive in a certain state. The idea of gender expression in and of itself is not necessarily an indication of negativity or polarity in that sense. You follow me?
Yes.
All right. Does that answer the question?
Yes, it does.
It's really up to what the individual wishes to experience. That's really the simplest way to put it.
Can I ask a question?
Please.
As far as Bashar, as far as the supposed Earth changes and the light and photons and
Yes.
those kind of things coming into our environment within the next 5 years.
Well, you're already experiencing many different kinds of transformations on your planet, geologically, climactically. Yes, of course, you're in the middle of it already.
As far as what to expect, or
Expect nothing.
Okay.
As we
far as
said,
preparing
drop
yourself.
expectation.
Okay.
As far as so-called preparing, again, drop expectation.
Just allow it to come into.
If you know that you are being of the vibration that is true for you, then it doesn't really matter what happens in the world. You know your synchronicity will put you where you need to be, when you need to be there, and that you will experience it in a way that will always be of benefit to you, regardless of what's going on around you. Things could be falling apart all around you, within inches of you. It won't touch you in a negative way if you stay in the state of reality that you prefer to be. Then you will only get a positive or beneficial effect from it and be able to perhaps assist others who may not be having such an easy time of it. You follow me?
Yeah.
So the idea of having to prepare for it, in a sense, is not really the approach that allows you to detach from expectation. The idea of simply being in the state you prefer will take care of anything that comes your way. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
This is really simple physics. You cannot experience what you are not the vibration of. Make sense?
Yeah.
Now, you may have a collective agreement on Earth. You may generally agree that you will observe certain things, you will experience certain things, but again, its effect upon you will only be determined by the state of being you choose to be in. So even though you may participate in a certain kind of event, it doesn't mean it has to impact you negatively, even though it may impact everyone else around you that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then by your example, others can learn that it doesn't have to impact them negatively either.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does this help?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And a good day.
It seems like at what is being called fourth density, you know what you need to know when you need to know it.
Yes.
And so I wonder, I would prefer actually to not ever ask any more questions. Are
You go
there
right
ever...
ahead.
Yeah, thank you.
Again, it doesn't matter whether you do or not.
Right.
And the idea simply is to trust your own synchronicity. You all have the ability to access all the information you need all the time. You don't have to ask the question in that sense, although sometimes, depending upon your own process and what's needed for you, sometimes asking the question can actually trigger the answer within you. It just depends on how your psychology works. It's all right to ask the question. At the same time, you can know that you have the ability to download the answer. In a sense, what we say sometimes is the question contains the answer. For if you did not have an ability to understand the answer, you probably wouldn't have had the awareness to even know there was a question. Because it's two sides of the same coin. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
The fact that you are even aware that there is a question to ask means the answer lies somewhere within you. So all you have to do in asking the question is then take the little bent up question mark and straighten it out into an exclamation point.
Yes.
You follow me?
Yes.
So you can trust your own synchronicity that way. At the same time, if you feel like you need to ask a question,
Right.
don't judge yourself for asking it.
Right.
Know that it's simply part of your process.
Right. There's no inherent need, though, for questions. They're not required.
Well, let me put it this way.
Mm-hmm.
What will never disappear is curiosity. So in that sense, you could say there is always a perpetual why. Because that lures you into more mystery and lures you into more expansiveness. In that sense, that question will never go away. But in terms of the way in which we think you meant it, specifically, no, you don't necessarily always have to ask little detailed questions to understand that you actually have the bigger picture within you already.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
Bashar,
Yes!
I don't want to assume, so I'd like to ask you, are you familiar with what we are doing in regards to the internet right now, us specifically our company?
Define.
We are launching a channel of sorts, like television channel, but it's going to be on the internet.
Oh, all right.
We expect to have millions and millions of viewers.
All right, although no expectation is required.
Yes.
Do it because that's what you love to do.
Yes.
With the understanding that anything you do will always have an audience if it's something that's truly representative of your joy.
Yes.
Because if there were no audience, then you would not be inspired to do the thing you wish to do.
Yes.
Again, it's a two-sided coin. You cannot have someone who wishes to give information without, in the same reality, having someone who wishes to receive that information.
So speaking for myself, Britt, and I think Ace and many others in this room,
Yes.
following our highest joy would be sharing your teachings with as many people as we possibly could. Is this something that you are okay with?
Information itself, in general, as principles, is available to everyone. If you are talking about the idea of the conventions on your planet that involve the concept of business in terms of what you call copyright ownership, you have the person in the room with you that you need to take that up with. For it has nothing to do with my permission. It has to do with your earthly conventions.
No.
And you can discuss that among yourselves.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes, we understand.
Because we, in that sense, simply say that all information is available to anyone. But we also understand that on your planet, you have conventions of law that govern the idea of exactly how that information is presented and from whom, and in terms of the idea of acknowledgement of where it comes from, these things we understand are handled in very specific ways, and that can easily be done, but it's up to you to discuss it with the individual, April, that is, in that sense, shall we say, responsible for that. But it's not for me to say. You follow me?
Yes.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
All right.
I have a question.
Yes. Good day.
Good day. Thank you for joining us, Bashar. I am wondering what your involvement is in our experience here.
Honor.
Yes.
Well, as you see it, we are aiding and assisting in the transformation that we recognize is going on your planet at this time by imparting ideas and perspectives and information that you have an ability to choose to absorb or not. And based on your choice to absorb or use this information that we share with you for what has worked for us, will then determine the idea of our further interaction and the degree of it. Now, we perceive it is heading toward more and more concrete interaction between your civilization and our civilization and other civilizations. But that's really in your hands. It's really up to you. All we are allowed to do at this moment, without interfering, is the idea of imparting information in the way that we are doing it now, and leave it up to you as to whether to take that information to heart and use it in a way that changes your reality in a direction that you prefer. And if you do and it matches ours, then there is more conduciveness towards future interaction in a more concrete way. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Did that answer your question?
Yes. Thank you.
All right.
Gotcha.
No, go ahead.
Sure.
I'll go ahead.
Bashar, I was wondering,
Yes.
what do you think as far as children, the example that they have for us to learn from them?
Oh, I think you know the answer to that by asking that kind of a question in that way.
Yeah.
Many of the children being born on your planet now, in that sense, are not just another generation, they're actually another species.
Yeah.
And the idea is that they have changed in a way that allows them to be more in touch with who they really are. And thus they act as perfect examples, in many ways, of being a more holistic self. So certainly you can use them in that way as an example of how to be mature, but at the same time not lose your connection to your childhood ability to be more in touch with your imagination and more of your connectivity to all that is. So certainly you can always use the idea of children in that way. You follow?
Yes.
Okay.
Answer my question.
And of course they represent changes going on in your reality. Remember that all the children being born on your planet and for the last several decades have never known a time on your planet when you weren't in space, when you weren't dealing with the idea of unseen energies. That is natural in their psychology, and thus that's what makes them different. They do not in that sense have the question or the doubt that such things exist. They know they do, because it's been part of their reality. It's just a matter of to what degree that they exist in their experience. And in what way they exist in their experience. But those individuals on your planet, born before a certain time, do not have the same certainty that they have now, in that sense, and with regard to those kinds of unseen realities. That to them is natural. Just look at your television programming. Just about every other one for children contains something that has to do with either extraterrestrials, other dimensional beings, spirits. You follow me? Mm-hmm. This is natural to them. And by the time they are, in that sense, the age of many of the people on your planet who now run your world, they will not see any reason why communication with beings such as ourselves, or spirits, or beings from other dimensions shouldn't happen as a matter of daily occurrence. You follow me? Those barriers are already dropped in them. They never existed in them. Does that help?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you. Would you ever be open to doing a class on channeling?
We have done one.
Mm-hmm.
It is, at this time, not the most efficient use of the delivering of the information. We are always open to anything, but we simply sense, in the overall scheme of things, that information of a different kind and nature must be delivered right now to best serve humanity on Earth, rather than specifically narrowing it down to the idea of teaching one to channel. Now, of course, conversely, channeling is simply getting out of your own way, psychologically, and allowing yourself to function as more of your holistic self, and tapping into whatever it is represents the most whole expression of your being. So in that sense, anything you do that's an act of creative love is a state of channeling. And that, in some sense, is thus then what we're actually already teaching you all to do, by urging you to follow your joy. We're urging you to channel more of yourself, because that's the whole idea to channeling anyway. The process of channeling, as you're witnessing it now, in terms of my consciousness coming through the person before you, doesn't leave that person out. One of the most important aspects of the channeling is that the channel himself or herself actually also becomes more of their own version of the highest possible person they can be. Thus then, you can leapfrog over the need to actually have an entity speak through you by simply becoming more of yourself every day anyway. And thus then simply commune with other beings as equals. The only reason that it exists in this format, in terms of beings speaking through humans on Earth, is because there are still many humans on Earth that will not allow human beings to be able to integrate this way. They will not accept it. They will only accept it from what they perceive to be an exterior authority figure.
Wow.
And thus then this is a way of slowly over time getting people used to the idea that you all have this within you. And that is the whole idea, is to be your version of what you believe we are, so that we can meet as equals, not as someone who has more authority over you. But that's the way your planet has functioned for thousands of years, so it takes a little time for you to get over that kind of relationship. But that's all right. We understand that. And therefore we are happy to participate in this particular idea, but you see the basic reason we are doing this job is to put ourselves out of a job. so that we simply can play together. You follow me?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, I got a question. Bashar?
Yes.
I would like to know if you can sense any cosmic heritage within me, or if you can sense that
Cosmic heritage.
Yeah.
You all have cosmic heritage.
Right.
Everyone on your planet has cosmic heritage. What are you most attracted to? Any particular arena? Any particular kind of energy? Any particular kind of symbols? Those are the things that represent the ones you are connecting to in this life.
Okay.
That serve you best. Such as many people on your planet connecting to the idea of the energy that is associated with the star system of Sirius. You follow me?
Yes.
And that has to do a lot with water, dolphins, whale consciousness, and so forth. Many individuals have made that connection in this life because they understand that that kind of energy association will aid and assist them in their transformation. It's something they can relate to in terms of their cosmic heritage. Does that make sense?
It's getting there.
All right. So whatever it is you feel most attracted to, and of course, no accident that we're all having this conversation today.
Not at all.
So thus then there is obviously vibrational attraction to our particular reality domain as well for all of you, or you wouldn't be here. So it's simply a matter of taking into account all the different kinds of vibrations you are attracted to that represent the idea of cosmic connections, and simply recognizing that you have made those connections to serve you and your personality aspects in ways that you deem is most necessary to allow you to become more fully who you are as a human on Earth. It's about bringing heaven down to earth, not about making a cosmic connection in a way that allows you to run away from what you chose to be on earth. You follow?
Yes.
It's about bringing those connections down to earth and manifesting those kinds of realities on your planet. That's why you chose to be what you are.
Thank you.
Now, of course, please remember, when individuals on your planet talk about, cosmic connections and connecting to this alien system and that extraterrestrial system, please understand you tend to forget that from our point of view, you are aliens.
Right.
So you're already, in that sense, an alien. Maybe not an extraterrestrial, but you are definitely an extra-Sasanian. To me.
Great.
So being an Earth human is just as valid, just as important, an energy vibration, and just as alien to other beings as we are to you. You follow me?
Yes, completely.
All right.
And that's as far as going a little deeper with that, what I was getting at is there, am I of this earth, or was I?
Again, what I just told you says you are of this earth and of other places.
Great, I'm done.
Both. Thank you.
Yeah.
Remember, it's not this or that, it's this and that.
It's everything.
Because you are on earth. Obviously, yes.
Yes.
Therefore, you are of earth. But you feel connections to other places, yes?
Yes.
Therefore, you are connected to them too. This and that, not this or that.
Yeah.
Again, there are no one-sided coins. If you have the head, you have to have the tail, or there's no coin. So this and that, not this or that.
Do people dance a lot on Sasani?
They do.
Yeah, like all the time?
In a variety of ways.
Yeah.
Again, depending upon synchronicity.
Yeah.
We're not constantly dancing around. Although, of course, it depends on what you mean by dancing, because we're dancing right now, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
All right. But physiologically dancing, yes, from time to time. But not always, no.
Bashar,
Yes!
I believe that it is very, having visuals, letting people see to help them believe is a very effective tool.
Yes, it is.
Recently we have discovered some footage from a shot captured by NASA
Yes.
in outer space, and it's very, it's very effective. It is footage of spaceships.
Yes.
And I was wondering, to make it even more real for people, I was wondering if we could set up a time and place where I could get some footage of one of your scout ships.
That is possible, but I cannot give you an absolute on that.
Okay.
However, one moment. Do you have any inclination to go into what you would call your either Central American or South American area?
Yes.
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 Very soon.
When?
Very soon.
When?
Now's a good time for you.
No. When are you going?
March, April?
Is this a question?
April.
This is a question. Yes, I don't know.
April.
We don't know.
Yeah.
What I am simply saying is,
Yeah.
do you already have the inclination, or have you already discussed going to those areas on your planet?
Yeah.
Yes.
I have.
And did you in your discussion decide when you thought it might be best for you to go there?
ASAP?
I said March.
No.
Mid-March.
Is there a
I personally did not.
consensus in this?
No,
There is
no,
no-
there's
there's
no,
no
definitely
consensus.
not.
When you discuss this and find a consensus, then you will understand through your own synchronicity that others are also helping you form that consensus, and there is a high degree of probability that you will be able to capture something on film.
Okay.
So Central, South America.
Either Central America or South America.
Central.
It depends on you. We'll leave that up to you. And it may not be us, but it may be the others.
Fine.
We're down.
You have already begun to see interaction, the beginnings of the interaction of those who will contact your world first, openly. What you call the incident known as the Phoenix Lights. Are you familiar with this?
Yes.
In your year of 1997, a large 1 mile long craft passed over the entire state of Arizona, seen by multiple witnesses, thousands of witnesses. Those are the beings that will first contact your world openly. They will do this again sometime this year. Most likely also in March. So, if you wish to simply open up to the idea that a massive sighting will occur in and around your March time of this year, you may find yourself attracted to somewhere in your United States whereby you may participate in such a sighting. It may still be in the Southwest somewhere. This has not yet been determined. Aside from that sighting, there is still the possibility of going to Central or South America and also capturing something on film.
Can you tell me what civilization is?
The ones that will contact your world openly first will be a type of hybrid. Not the same as us exactly. And that's all we are allowed to say.
Thank you very much for that.
You are welcome.
More?
Yeah. Earlier, you were saying that you guys are getting through your job so that you can basically play with us. Could you speak more on the concept of playing in the universal context?
Well, again, it simply comes down to following your own joy and trusting that the synchronicity that is generated by following your own joy individually will automatically tie into the synchronicity of others following their joy who need to interact with you. So that you simply wind up at the right place at the right time, interacting with exactly who you need to interact with at exactly the right moment, doing exactly together the thing that each of you wishes to do in absolute harmony automatically without planning a thing. That's what we mean. Does that answer the question?
Yeah.
All right. It's just knowing. It's an absolute knowing that it's all play. And it's an absolute knowing that your synchronicity will, by following your joy, always put you in the right place at the right time, interacting with exactly who you need to interact with at that moment. So you see, you may have events on your planet that you plan, be it such and such a place at such and such a time to experience such and such. Now, we can have similar ideas, but we don't plan it. It's just that anyone who needs to be there is there when they need to be, and the event occurs. But we don't plan it. And remember, of course, that we also know we are all telepathically connected. So we're always in touch. We just follow the ebb, flow, and current of our own synchronicity, of our own energy, of our own joy. And we always wind up exactly where we need to be, when we need to be there, with whom we need to be there with. Doing what we need to do because we're inspired to do it, and so are they. Nothing is ever planned out. But that's the way we operate. I'm not saying that planning a little bit isn't bad. I'm not saying that. You can plan. But be open also to the synchronicity. Allow for spontaneity. Because that's actually a stronger way to plan. The thing that excites you the most, as we have said many times, actually is not only the driving engine of your life, it's the organizing principle too. It knows where you need to be. It knows when you need to be there. It knows with whom you need to interact. It knows this. It's innate in the consciousness itself. All you need to do is ride that wave, flow with that wave of joy, and you will see that it organizes everything automatically. And everyone that needs to show up when they need to show up, shows up. Simple. Easy. Effective. Efficient. Playful. Automatic effort. That's how it works when you allow it to. You don't have to make it work, just let it work. Make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question
Yes.
about commitment.
Commitment.
And relationships
Yes.
on Earth
Yes.
are meant, in my world, to transcend us to expandedness
Yes.
and higher levels of joy.
Of course.
And
All relationships are for the purpose of everyone in the relationship reflecting what they need to the other people in the relationship to allow the other people to become more of who they are. That's what relationships are for.
yes.
Commitment is simply how you define it. So the idea of keeping a commitment is simply being true to the word you give of whatever you define the relationship to be. It doesn't matter how it's defined. It only matters that if you have defined it, then you have a commitment to allow yourself to follow through with your definition, as you have clearly communicated it to others in the relationship. That's all commitment is. Following through on what you have said the commitment or the relationship actually is. It doesn't matter what it is, just that what you have defined, you stick to.
Now, is that valuable and expansive, or is that restricting?
Some limitation is positive, you know. The idea of defining things in a certain way allows you to have a certain kind of an experience. And so if you use it that way, in an open communicative style and let everyone understand clearly what the relationship is actually for and not what they think it might be for, then there's no limitation experienced even within a relatively limited definition. Because you can expand and explore everything about the definition you've imposed on it to the fullest degree. And if you have stated clearly, this is what it's for, this is who I am, this is what I prefer in it, then you give all the other people in the relationship an opportunity to choose to interact with you in that relationship in the way that you have defined yourself in that relationship. And thus, by clearly defining who you are in this relationship and what you prefer, they can then choose to interact with you or not. And even though you have, in that sense, shall we say, offered them a particular limited definition, you have expanded the thing beyond limitation by trusting enough to define yourself clearly and communicate yourself clearly to everyone so that you're giving them the opportunity to choose whether or not to interact with you, and thus knowing that those that do choose it are choosing it with an absolute clear understanding of what they're getting into, and that allows the limitations to not be felt. Does that make sense?
Beautifully so.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bashar,
Yes.
am I to understand that there is a choice that is made when incarnation takes place in human form?
Yes.
So can you...
Always you have
Yes.
choice. Always you have choice. On all levels you have choice. You may not know it. You may create an experience of not having an awareness that you have a choice, but even if you create an experience that you have no choice, that's still a choice.
So can you speak on what is happening then when babies are born
Yes.
dead, like stillborns or
Yes.
miscarriages,
Yes.
or... Thank you.
They didn't need to experience physical reality that long. They just needed to stick their toe in the water for a minute. And they chose someone that they understood would allow that experience to occur because of what was going on physiologically in the person. Wouldn't allow the baby to come to term. Wouldn't allow the baby to survive. They simply allow themselves to recognize that the random patterns that exist in nature allow all possibilities to occur. Survival and lack of physical survival. And if they simply don't need to have an entire life, but only need a moment of it, they will choose someone who will have a child that will not survive, and they will then attach themselves to that and have the experience in the time limit that they need it, and then they will leave, knowing that that's exactly what they chose. Make sense?
Perfect sense.
All right. Nothing is, in that sense, an accident. It's all an orchestration.
So that was my next question, is do souls of children coming to be born of their parents here on Earth, do they choose
Yes.
their parents?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's whatever temperature you wish it to be.
Bashar.
Yes.
As far as reincarnation goes,
Yes.
On an individual basis,
Yes.
How, as far as all realities exist right now, how,
Yes.
how
That's
can
why
I-
we prefer to say multiple simultaneous
Oh, yeah.
incarnation as opposed to reincarnation, because it only appears to be reincarnation from within your time-space framework.
So
They all exist at the same time.
in a sense of planning for me, I would like to get to know more of my realities. That are
Go
going
right
on
ahead.
Now.
However you wish to do, that's up to you.
Now, do I've found a way to do it by just scratching the surface, and then it kind of flushes in.
All
in
right.
that sense.
All right. Whatever works for you is fine.
But this is something that is possible.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
You must understand that there is always cross-communication between the different lives.
Right.
Always.
Always.
So it's not a matter of having to make that happen, it's just a matter of tapping in.
And noticing.
And it's a matter of understanding what part of that cross-communication might or might not be relevant for you.
Okay.
Now, what many of you also don't know and don't need to know, because it might just simply clog up the process, is that you are always receiving information from different experiences you're having in different lives, but you might receive that information in a way that only seems like an inspiration you had in this life. You might get an idea of something. You might get an inspiration. You may not understand that that may actually have come from an experience in another life. But the point is you may not need to understand that.
Right.
So, whatever it is you need to know that comes from another life, when you need to know it comes from another life, you will, if you're open to it. You'll get the picture, you'll get the image, you'll get the feeling. You'll show yourself some sign or synchronistic symbol that will let you know that there's a connection. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
In other words, you might suddenly find yourself walking down the street and being inspired by a thought. And then you might suddenly, in the same moment, notice a sign, a picture, a symbol, or hear a word that for some reason transports you to thoughts of other times and other places. That might be a way that your synchronicity has of showing you that that thought, that idea actually originated in another life. Make sense?
Yeah.
But if you don't get that, it doesn't really necessarily mean you have to have that. It just may mean that you have the information, use the information as works best for you, and get on with your life. You don't need to stop and ponder, where did it come from? You follow?
Yeah.
But if it gives you joy to do so, then by all means be open to it and allow your synchronicity to give you those moments that show you and connect you to that idea. Now, of course, you can use any number of techniques. You can use the idea of hypnotherapy, regression, you can use meditation, you can use whatever you wish to get yourself to be put in touch with the idea of other lives you are having simultaneously. And of course, when I say you are having, I mean your greater oversoul is having, because you aren't having those other lives. You are this personality here. You understand the difference?
Yes.
It is your oversoul that is having all the simultaneous lives. Now, of course, don't forget, not only are there many different lives in what you would call one time stream, there are also an infinite number of parallel realities.
Right.
So there are also different versions of this you in different realities, on different Earths, as well as different lives you may feel you have had in one timeline.
So would you say that imagination is key then?
It is Magi Nation. You are a nation of magicians. Imagination is your connection to the dimension itself that touches all other realities. That's what it's for. You cannot imagine something that isn't somewhere real, because you cannot imagine non-existence. Anything you imagine is somewhere, somehow, in some reality, actually real.
Yes.
You follow me?
man.
It may not be relevant to your reality here. It may not be physical or real as you understand it, but it's actually autonomously happening somewhere, somewhen, somehow, because you do not have the capacity to imagine non-existence. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And give you a fuller understanding of exactly how multidimensional you are?
Yeah.
All right. Then I have done my job.